Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, along with Asim Munir, the army chief, are likely to meet Donald Trump next week. The two Pakistani leaders will hold talks with Donald Trump on the 25th of September on the sidelines of the UNGA. Now, this comes after Donald Trump has hosted Asim Munir. This comes after there's already been some, one can say, back-channel talks that have taken place between America and Pakistan with regard to, well, Donald Trump's ego, which got addressed when he got the Nobel recommendation letter. Now, this also comes as Pakistan's, there's been devastating floods that have taken place there. Diplomatic tensions between New Delhi and Islamabad remain, most certainly because of, well, this will be the first meeting since Operation Sindoor. How significant will this be? What could be the broad agenda of this? We'll try and decode that, but let's first get an update on this from Aditya.
Well, that's right. A big meeting that will take place on the sidelines of the UNGA will be, of course, Prime Minister of Pakistan Shehbaz Sharif meeting and engaging with US President Donald Trump. But this also comes at a time when Trump has been going public more than 40 times, claiming that it was US and the Trump administration that was responsible for the ceasefire that was achieved after Operation Sindoor, the 4-day war between India and Pakistan. India has been very clear, and New Delhi has maintained that United States had a limited role to play in the ceasefire, and it was Pakistanis who had begged for a ceasefire because of the kind of damages and the losses they had suffered during Operation Sindoor, both their command control centers, airfields, and also the terror camps that were destroyed completely by the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. And now this big meeting between Sharif and Trump will clearly underline that, of course, there's a change of stance from Trump. There's a change of heart as well. But the big question really is, what about the stance on counterterrorism? India and Washington, D.C. have a very close cooperation on counterterrorism, on intelligence sharing, and on defense and technological partnership as well. This also comes at a time when Sharif was completely snubbed during the SCO meeting, those visuals capturing the huddle between Modi, Xi Jinping and Putin. But Sharif was in a corner, completely isolated diplomatically, nobody willing to engage with him. And that too in a country that he calls an iron brother. And will there be a change of stance in the bilateral ties between US and Pakistan? Only time will tell. But we'll have to wait and watch, and India will be keeping a very close watch on that big meeting on September 25th. And interestingly, it's not just Sharif and Trump, it's Asim Munir as well, who would be there in the delegation. He would be meeting Trump as well. It's the same Asim Munir who actually gave the orders for the Pahalgam terror attack, killing 26 innocents in India's Jammu and Kashmir. And it's the same Asim Munir who was, in fact, welcomed by Donald Trump just a few days ago for a meal inside the White House, and then again for the farewell of the CENTCOM chief. So a lot of diplomacy playing out on the sidelines of UNGA that New Delhi will be carefully observing.
Absolutely. The same Asim Munir who was actually hosted by Donald Trump, who gave a Nobel recommendation letter, and now remains to be seen what will be the key focus areas of this meeting and the impact this will have on the larger region. Aditya, thanks much for breaking that down for us in detail and really setting the stage in terms of why this is so significant. Jayant Krishna as well as Ambassador Sajjanar join me on the broadcast to take this forward in terms of what could be the key areas that one must focus on and also the big messaging that will come out from here. In fact, Ambassador Sajjanar, let me start with you. This is the first meeting between Shehbaz Sharif and Donald Trump. Asim Munir has already been hosted once. He's given his Nobel recommendation letter also to Donald Trump. There's also been a joint effort to discover and identify some oil reserves. Nobody's been able to find those in Pakistan for over a century, but Donald Trump thinks that he'll be able to find it. But more importantly, what according to you will be the top 2 or 3 agenda items in this meeting?
Yeah, thank you very much, Gauri. Basically, I think what the US dispensation and particularly Donald Trump, they think that the real power lies with the army, the real power lies with Asim Munir, and that is why he was hosted at the White House without any presence of, any representative of the civilian government. You would recall that the information minister of Pakistan was also in the White House, but he was asked to stay out of the meeting room and out of the lunch. There was also the Pakistan ambassador who was there in the White House. He was also not allowed to come. So basically, the Americans have decided that whatever decisions are taken, the substantive decisions are taken on security issues, it is the army. So now it will be an attempt basically to co-opt Shehbaz Sharif also, because we've seen that, as far as the civilian administration is concerned, they've been making statements against the United States, whether it was the attack by the United States on the Iranian nuclear sites or against, whatever Israel has been doing and so on and so forth. So I think the effort will be to co-opt the civilian administration also and say, as far as bilateral relations are concerned, you mentioned about mineral oil. There'll also be on discussion on cryptocurrency. There'll also be discussion on rare earths, which both the countries could
Yes.
work together on. And of course, if Pakistan's airspace or space is required to go across to Iran if there are problems, I think all those issues are definitely going to be taken up and basically try to bring Pakistan closer to the United States and possibly weaken the partnership with its iron brother China. But there, I think the chances of success are very remote, very dim. Gauri.
Right. In fact, let's get in, Mr. Krishna, as well on this, which is that from America's point of view, Ambassador Sajjanhar said one very important aspect is the fact that Pakistani airspace is critical for Donald Trump. In fact, he did have that limited B-12 bomber military intervention in Iran this year. So, which is why Pakistani airspace is important. But this meeting also happens at a time when Donald Trump has misrepresented the facts with regard to Operation Sindoor. It also comes in the backdrop of India saying that repeatedly that Donald Trump is not to be credited as far as Operation Sindoor and its success is concerned, and India's decision to announce ceasefire after it felt its goals have been achieved, military goals have been achieved. Put that in context for us in terms of this meeting and its relevance.
So, Gauri, I would not somehow give too much of credence to this meeting proposed between the Pakistan Prime Minister and President Trump. I think we have seen successive US presidents honeymooning with Pakistan here and there and, throwing some money their way, some loans, some grants and so on and so forth. But I think American agenda largely, of course, one is that, they want access to Pakistani airspace for their geopolitical reasons in this part of the world. But I think more importantly, they want to keep India on its toes. I think that's another agenda of successive U.S. presidents' engagement with Pakistan. So as far as I'm concerned, Pakistan is a failed country, a failed economy in every conceivable way. If at all they are serious, rather than knocking the doors of power that be globally, I think they should set their own house in order. They should identify big-time reforms, which are very, very crucial for the country. Otherwise, the country has no future, no matter how much of they keep going to the US and other countries as a begging bowl, and and these kind of parlays. I don't think. In the long term, it will, render any good to Pakistan at all, unless they set their own house in order at all. I mean, they may get some brownie points, some headlines here and there, but beyond that,
they don't need brownie points; they need aid.
Sorry?
I'm saying Pakistan doesn't need brownie points; it needs aid.
Yeah. So I think I don't give too much of importance to it. I think it's primarily to keep India on its toes, and of course, airspace is one issue which they want access to. Beyond that,
okay, Ambassador Sajjanhar, the fact that there are reports indicating that Pakistan has certain commercial interests tied to, or crypto interests tied to the Trump family. Whether they are through several of these financial dealings linking to the Trump family or several of those enterprises, those commercial interests also matter to the president, doesn't it? I mean, if there's anything, one realizes that commercial interests reign supreme in Oval Office right now.
No, absolutely. I think that's a huge consideration in my view. And there has been, a lot of investigative reporting that has been done from the United States itself, and they have found that, this world liberty, financial, whatever it is, that it is Donald Trump's son and Steve Witkoff's son, they are all sort of, involved in it. And they find that, Pakistan is a good vehicle to take forward their business interests. So, and we've seen that as far as Mr. Trump is concerned, wherever it is not the national for, any business dealings for national benefit, but if it is for the personal benefit, if it is for the benefit of the family, that takes, a very important position. That really takes precedence.
Mr. Krishna, is that how we should see it? There are commercial interests that are aligned, and this has nothing to do with anything else?
So, Gauri, some of the things which US has been talking about in that, Pakistan has unexplored oil reserves, a lot of crude oil that they have, the rare earths that they have, especially when they have seen that, in the tariff war with China, China had, threatened to stop the supply of rare earths to the US. I think there could be some exploration on that front. But let's understand. How would the exploration happen? Pakistan have to have the basic elements of governance in place, the basic elements of peace in place.
By the way, British tried to explore oil in Pakistan in 1912, didn't succeed then. Let's see whether America and American oil firms succeed now in 2025. But anyway, finish your point, sir. Finish your point.
Yeah, so I think it's very important that the basic elements of governance have to be in place. And secondly, in Pakistan, there has to be, the terrorist, let loose every, all over the country, right? So I think even China has realized. China has funded big time in Pakistan, especially in the energy projects and infrastructure projects. But they have had so much of difficulty operating it on the ground because of the law and order situation and so on and so forth, right? And so I think, US can make one more effort. It's not that easy. If for any economic exploitation of either crude oil or rare earths or anything else, if Pakistan,
sir, okay, sir, in the China-Pakistan economic corridor, all infrastructure projects, every energy venture, every single investment is yet to bear any returns for the Chinese companies. And I'm not even talking about the Gwadar port. And remember, these are state enterprises. And they have to invest because there are state objectives. That isn't the case as far as American companies are concerned. They are driven by profit. They are driven by whether they are able to make money for their investors and shareholders or not. So I don't expect any American companies to go there and make some big investments there. There may be some aligned interests as far as the Iranian airspace is concerned. But this is a question I asked to both of you, which is that what message is Donald Trump sending as far as counter-terrorism is concerned and ensuring that the global terror factories that operate out of Pakistan are reined in? But this is the kind of treatment when you meet, you greet, and you have these meetings. What is the message that Donald Trump is sending as far as reining in those terror factories are concerned? Mr. Krishna, to you, and then I get in Ambassador Sajjanar.
So are you saying that what message President Trump has already sent to Pakistan, or will send once he meets the Prime Minister?
Yeah, what is the kind of counter-terrorism efforts that are actually now going to play out, and how successful will they be for America if this is the meeting and this is how his mindset is?
I think President Trump should clearly talk about it, that what efforts Pakistan contemplates to eradicate terrorist groups and so on and so forth, how the state funding into these kind of activities stops. I think he has to come down very heavily on that, because if any part of the world is unsafe.
So you are saying he's calling them for a earful. Okay. Final comment, Ambassador Sajjanar. Yeah.
No, he's not calling him for an earful. Yeah, they are quite reconciled that Pakistan Army and ISI will continue to fund, Jaish and Lashkar and all these other things which are acting against India. But as far as the CENTCOM is concerned, as far as the ISIS is concerned, Al-Qaeda is concerned, you would remember that, General Kuril, the chief of the Central Command, commandant of the Central Command, he called Pakistan a phenomenal partner in counter-terrorism efforts.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why Asim Munir was invited for the retirement bash of General Kuril in Mar-a-Lago. So to the United States. So he is not going to get an earful on terrorism. As far as America is concerned, Pakistan is a very good boy. It's behaving itself. It gives hands out one or two terrorists. You would remember even in the State of the Nation address, Trump had referred to one terrorist that had been handed over by Pakistan, who had acted, when the United States was leaving Afghanistan in 2021. So, on counter-terror, he's not going to, he'll just applaud and laud what the cooperation is. As far as bilateral business deals are concerned,
Yes.
there might be question mark on oil, there might be question mark on rare earths.
Okay.
But as far as crypto is concerned, that doesn't suffer from this.
That doesn't suffer, and that could be one of the primary reasons.
Family involvement.
Okay, all right. I'm going to leave it there, gentlemen. Thanks much for speaking to me on Prime 5.